Okay. What? Hey everyone, welcome to The Field Between. I'm Ahmed.
I'm Yasmin.
What were you saying?
I was saying our topic for today is that we're in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I guess. I have a couple things. I prepared.
Great.
Did you prepare?
No, I just want to talk about how we're finally in Pittsburgh.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Yeah, I think that'll be most of it. We haven't really had a chance to prepare too much. But
we're excited to be back.
We are. I think we can, now that we're settled or settling in, we can try to stay more regular with these.
Definitely.
Get back to our Monday schedule.
Mm-hmm. Get back to doing some reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but one of these every once in a while is not, like, I don't think it's too bad.
No, I
Maybe
agree.
people enjoy it.
The cat is coming for our recording.
Yeah, she's going to step all over their shit.
Hi, Potato.
She came up here. She's pretty good.
She was really good.
That was
can I
actually
tell the story really fast?
My biggest concern. Okay, she's getting all over the recording equipment. Go away.
So I drugged her with her favorite yogurt, which she always loves. And then this one time she tried not to take it. I got up at 5:30 in the morning.
Drugged her. So the drugs go in the yogurt.
Yeah. I like mix it in.
The yogurt itself is not a
The yogurt itself is not a drug.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't know, maybe not. And so I had to like spend a half an hour giving it to her. But yeah, it was pretty chill. I just put her in the carrier and took her on the plane, and she was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like the most she's probably seen in her whole little life.
Yeah, I try to think about it from her perspective, and I just can't imagine what that would be like to be inside a house pretty much 99.9% of your life and then suddenly be taken to an airport.
Yeah, I had to walk through.
Have to go through security, and
I had to walk through security and take her out of her carrier and like hold her while I went through the metal detector, and
Yeah.
she just looked in utter shock.
What do you think she thought all the plane noise was?
I don't know.
She must have thought she was being eaten by a giant animal.
She was pretty out of it at that point. I mean, she's been in a car, right? It probably didn't feel that different than being in a car from her perspective.
A plane's very different. Like, there's the feeling of taking off and
Yeah.
the sound. Were you behind the engine or in front?
I think in front.
That's not so bad.
Yeah. But she was very good. We're very proud of her. She's adapting better than we thought she would.
Yeah. Okay, before we dive into Pittsburgh stuff, I figured we could play a game.
Okay. I love games.
Okay. There's just one round of this game. I'm going to play a sound for you.
Uh-huh.
You have to guess what you think it is.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. You going to hear it again?
No. Well, it sounds like someone imitating a sound in front of an audience.
Okay. Who do you think it is?
I don't know. I think that it's someone talking about how they orgasm. I think it's a comedian pretending to orgasm. That's my guess. Don't play it again. It's too many times.
You got it. You're pretty close.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Okay, it's Donald Trump.
Oh, what is he doing?
I don't know.
Oh.
That was him at a rally
Like recently?
very recently.
Wait, what's that train?
It's a train.
What is it doing?
I don't know. It's a train.
I know, but is it like a freight train or is it a...
I know as much about this train as you do. I'm inside, not observing the train.
I just didn't know we lived near a train.
Yeah. Now you know.
Yeah.
Now you know. Okay. And then my only research is that I have 3 stories that I saw in the New York Times, and they're all fairly short, but they kind of speak to... They're all stories about American innovators.
Okay.
And a testament to American ingenuity. But they're all people who flew a little too close to the sun.
Oh, no.
The first one is a man sentenced in $9 million cow manure Ponzi scheme. And this story is about a guy named Raymond Brewer who defrauded investors by falsely telling them he was building machines that could convert cow manure into biogas.
Honestly, good for him. That seems like a great lie.
So I'm just going to read a little bit from the story. So for 5 years, Raymond falsely claimed to be an engineer who ran a company.
5 years? That's a long time
5
to
years.
falsely claim something.
Ran a company that built an anaerobic digestion plant which converted manure into biogas. And he told his investors that he was building the plants and would generate millions of dollars in revenue by selling the biogas. And it turned out that he was doing none of that, like, at all.
Not even a little bit.
He didn't even start to build any of the, like, plants or anything like that. Instead, turns out he had spent all the money he had gotten on a 3,700 square foot custom home in California, a 12-acre plot of land in Montana, and a new Dodge Ram pickup truck.
Nice.
Which is kind of admirable. I think it kind of shows like what kind of life he wanted to live.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of being a fancy ranch guy.
You would think that eventually he would know that if he didn't create a product, though, there was a limited time that this could go happen.
Yeah, it's interesting. I really wonder what the end game was.
Yeah.
He's kind of old. He's 66, so maybe he thought he was going to die on the ranch or something. I don't know.
Aww.
But so his scheme started to break down, and this is kind of one of my favorite parts. So sheriff's deputies went to go arrest him in Montana in 2020, detained him on 24 counts of including wire fraud, money laundering, aggravated identity theft. But Mr. Brewer continued to lie, telling the authorities that they had the wrong man and that he was a Navy veteran hero who had once saved several soldiers from a fire by blocking the flames with his body.
So specific. I wonder if this is like an Anna Delvey type situation where he kind of started to believe his lies somehow.
I don't know. No, I think this guy's just like, he can't help it. He's just a huckster.
Yeah, just a compulsive liar.
Yeah, like imagine like getting arrested. He's like, I'm absolutely the wrong guy. Second of all, I'm a Navy war hero. And just like the lie that he's telling about that is like, there was a fire and apparently he saved several people by putting his body in the way of the flames.
I cannot imagine that.
Which, how did he not burn up? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just love that as a lie. It's so transparently false. But that's pretty much it. I just really appreciate the level of scamminess.
Nice.
Actually, what it did remind me of is the Theranos stuff, where it was like, oh, we're solving this thing that previously couldn't be solved.
Right.
And, you know, and hers was the realm of having one test that could look for every biomarker that could have whatever.
Blood, yeah.
And his is climate change, you know? And, yeah, to keep investors who tend to be, you know, if they're institutional investors, pretty sophisticated,
Doesn't
allegedly.
Seem like it. Yeah, I was going to say.
Keep them, you know, again, it's just breaking down the myth that
investors are
rich people are like good stewards of capital.
Yeah.
Okay. So the second story is an ex-social worker who pretended to be a Boston high school student.
Oh,
did you hear about this?
Something similar to this happened also maybe like a few months ago, where a student or an adult went to a New Jersey high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just like for funsies. She said that she missed being in high school, which is kind of sad, but also weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was like in her late 30s. Is this similar?
This is very similar. This woman's 32 and was a former state social worker who posed as a high school student at 3 Boston public schools where she gossiped with teenagers during lunch and complained about homework. So there's really not anything that I want to pull out of this one, but she did it for a while, and
makes you think about what people get out of that.
Yeah.
Maybe a sense of like a time where your life was structured.
Yeah, I think people started to they're investigating it now, and they say they didn't find any like specific harms done to the children or anything like that.
It's still weird though.
It is still weird.
Yeah.
And there was one instance when she came to school, she was pretending to be a foster kid.
Interesting.
So she came to school with like not like a bindle or anything, but she came with a bunch of belongings
Interesting.
and was like, "Oh, I'm moving to a different foster home."
Strange. It's kind of, it makes it weirder, I think, that she's a social worker.
Yeah,
She's
and
kind
she
of
would
imitating her clients.
yeah. She would sometimes walk out of class and wander around the hallways, adding that she occasionally saw her crying at school. Um yeah.
If I could, like, yeah, I just would not go back to high school. It was not like the prime time in my life.
I think somewhere here, I could be wrong, I remember it saying that she worked with high school students.
Yeah, it's a bit off.
And so, I don't know, maybe there
Yeah.
was something about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't go back to high school. I honestly wouldn't even go back to college. I feel
Yeah.
like life has just gotten better. Yeah.
I definitely would not go back to high school. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
I enjoyed my master's. It was a kind of tumultuous time, but like if I had to go back to something, maybe that, but definitely not high school. Yeah.
Weird. Also weird that a 32-year-old can. I kind of want to see a picture of
I
her.
can see that though. I mean,
I don't-
I feel like depending on how much makeup I'm wearing and like what I'm dressed as, like I feel like especially women can kind of sometimes pass for a large age range.
You think so?
Yeah.
I wouldn't clock you as a high schooler though.
No, but I sometimes get mistaken for like a lot younger than I am or older. It really just depends.
Yeah. Okay. Last story of an
Last
American
hustler.
genius
Yeah.
who flew too close to the sun.
Uh-huh.
An influencer gets 90 days in jail for false report of kidnapping attempt.
Oh God.
So this Californian woman, an Instagram mom influencer, she falsely reported and posted online that a couple had attempted to kidnap her 2 young children in 2020. So Katie Sorensen, who's 30 years old, essentially was out with her kids. I can't remember where. I think, it says here a Michael's Craft store about 40 miles north of San Francisco with her 4-year-old son and 1-year-old daughter. After purchasing some items, prosecutors said she loaded her children into the car and left the store's parking lot. A few minutes later, Ms. Sorensen called the Petaluma Police Department and reported that a couple had tried to kidnap her children. And then she posted a video online, which has since been deleted. She said that she wanted to share her story to raise awareness and just encourage parents to be more aware of their surroundings. She described being followed around the store by a couple who had made comments about the children and tried to kidnap them.
That's awful. That's definitely the most unforgivable one.
The video was viewed more than 4 million times.
Yeah, that's really strange. It's
Which
kind of
kinda-
creepy to use your kids as a pawn, and it's creepy
yeah.
to like sow fear about something that didn't happen to you.
Yeah, it made me
Yeah.
think about your feeling on the influencers who have their children.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot. I follow a lot of YouTubers, and so I've kind of listened to a lot of discourse about this, and I just don't think that children should be allowed on YouTube. I think it's wrong because there are laws that protect child actors, and a lot of these influencers make their living off of YouTube, and so their children essentially are probably being staged. It's not organic, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And also just like your right to privacy. Like, what if you don't want your potty training experience to be online forever when you're, you know, an adult?
Right.
There's also been a lot of really creepy research that like when kids happen to be naked, like even really young kids, like the videos are like more likely to be mined and downloaded and clips are made. So there's a good chance that they're going to child
You can also see where like people
sites.
pause videos and
Yeah.
stuff.
I definitely just wouldn't want my kid to be online in that way.
Yeah, but I don't know. I can't see the video, so I don't know if she actually showed her children. But
Right,
she is
right.
kind of. I mean, she's
Using
at the
their
very least indirectly
yeah.
using her children.
Ugh, weird. It's also sad
Yeah.
because like there are kids that get kidnapped. It's just kind of weird a thing to lie about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was at a time, I guess, in 2020 if she posted it, and I think people, maybe especially mom influencers, do this a lot. From what I can see through indirectly observing it, is that they just do get people keyed up about certain things, and it reminds me a lot of our childhood. I mean, we didn't have like the same phenomena of influencers, but you know, like people would spread all these like weird chain things about
like all the dangers of the world.
All the
like,
dangers
if
of
you
the
go
world,
to the
like,
park alone.
exactly,
Yeah.
or like razor blades and Halloween candy, or
right,
drugs
or
and
like,
Halloween
yeah,
candy.
drugs are expensive as hell. I don't know why that was always a rumor that there was like drugged Halloween candy. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess there's some wisdom to like not taking something that's opened, obviously, but
Yeah.
if it's like wrapped up, whatever.
But no one was making money off of that. I guess now it's like you're still spreading this ambient fear out in the world,
but it's being monetized.
you can monetize
yeah,
it.
that's true.
And I guess in the past, it is something that would spread around and was very tantalizing to people, or like you find that people really responded to in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, yeah. Yeah. Now the difference is you can have an ad for that.
You can kind of capitalize off of it. Yeah.
Right.
I have a couple of items actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What you got?
Just some updates.
That was our American Geniuses segment.
I have an evangelical YouTube world update.
Okay, what's
I
going
have
on?
two. So a new documentary is out on Amazon Prime called Shiny Happy People. And it's
Was it
about-
Amazon Prime or Hulu?
It's Amazon Prime.
Yeah, we were going to watch that together, and you just blew through all the episodes
Were we?
by yourself. Yeah, we started episode 1 together,
Oh, did we?
and then
I finished it really fast.
I went to
yeah.
sleep, and then
I
you
stayed up
could not go
till
to
like
sleep.
2 a.m.
And
yeah.
then I woke up, and I was like, do you want to watch another episode? And you're like, I finished all of them.
So it's I think like a 3 or 4 hour series. And it's about the Duggar family. So if anyone remembers in like the mid 2000s, like around 2010 through 2015 or something like that, there was a show on TLC called 19 Kids and Counting.
I thought it was called, was there another one called Meet the Duggars?
Maybe.
Oh,
There might have been a spin-off show with the kids.
okay.
Yeah, later on.
I have that titles in my head for some reason.
Yeah, perhaps. But 19
Okay.
Kids and Counting, I think, was the first show.
Okay. Because they had 19 kids,
Right.
if you counted them all.
Yeah, exactly. And it was about this kind of, Christian evangelical family that didn't believe in birth control and kind of their values. And the documentary is really interesting. I kind of got tuned into it because a lot of evangelicals that I follow are responding to it and saying that it was one-sided and kind of painted Christianity with a really broad brush instead of talking about this particular organization that this family was involved in, which is called the IBLP.
What is that
Oh
for?
gosh, it was
International Brotherhood.
Let's look it up. It's Bill Gothard's project. It's the Institute in Basic Life Principles.
Okay.
And so it was a pretty like large Christian network where basically it was kind of a reactionary response to the 60s and 70s. There was kind of a swing in the other direction in the 80s and 90s. And it was like, how do you raise a family effectively?
Mm-hmm.
And some things were like not that big of a deal. I mean, maybe not principles we'd agree with,
Mm-hmm.
but then some were really bad, like corporal punishment and like how to hit kids and
How to hit kids.
Yeah.
So it was like an instruction manual for how to beat your children.
And there was they were very into diagrams, and then they provided a lot of like worksheets for homeschooling, which like effectively meant that like a lot of people didn't really get educated who like were forced to like deal with these worksheets. And they were very big on kind of like family structure, and they had this diagram that they always show with an umbrella, and there's like God and then the husband.
God is the umbrella?
God is the really big umbrella, and then the husband is like a medium-sized umbrella, and then the
Everyone's
mom,
an umbrella?
Yeah, it's like picture like umbrellas stacked for each other. So the rain is coming down.
But who's under the umbrellas? Oh, okay.
The wife.
The wife?
Yeah.
She's
and then
not
the
an
kids
umbrella.
And then the kids are under her. So basically, the husband has to like provide a wide enough net of protection or people will get wet.
Right. He's like that guy who saved all those soldiers from the flames with his own body.
Right, exactly. But it's interesting because I think some families participated and they only like took some stuff and left some other things, but a lot of people who were more deeply involved in it have found it really damaging.
Right.
And then this 19 Kids and Counting, the eldest brother from that family ended up going to jail because he was downloading child pornography. And then he also, it turned out, abused his younger sister sexually.
Ugh.
So, yeah, a lot of interesting stuff with that.
Wait, was that known at the time and covered up, or?
Apparently, yes.
Okay.
Not by the TLC producers, allegedly, but other people in the community knew.
Shit.
Yeah. But the commentary on it has been interesting. It's been a really I think a lot of people seem to have, just based on like my pursuit of Reddit and stuff, have found it really comforting to watch this kind of come to light and like have found their own stories reflected in it. But because I watch these evangelicals so much, I also kind of get their perspective that they're frustrated that like this very specific niche organization, the IBLP, is being painted as like indicative of all of Christian evangelicals.
Do you think the documentary did that, though?
Yeah, it did.
Really?
Yeah, it definitely did. It was very much like IBLP, Bill Gothard, and then it was like all evangelical Christians are XYZ, which, you know, I think fair enough. Everyone's got an agenda, but yeah, it's been an interesting kind of conversation. Yeah, it's very one-sided, but I would
you
still
might be
recommend.
a little biased.
What?
You might be a little biased.
I mean, in which way?
You love those evangelical Christians?
I do. I don't love them. I think they're really interesting, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's an interesting conversation. It's worth checking out. Also, apparently some of the IBLP like homeschooling materials have made their way into prisons, which is really fascinating. They're supposed to be really good for like kind of principles of control and like obedience and kind of like military-esque logic. So that was interesting. I had no idea.
Wait, like the methods are deployed by the
like the handouts
police?
Are used in prisons. Yeah.
Or given to the prisoners?
Given to prisoners, yeah.
To show them how to control themselves? Or?
Yeah, like how to be a good citizen, how to be a good like subject. Yeah, which is kind of fascinating. They're like very disciplining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do people respond to them?
I mean, I think the people who really enjoyed the movement found it, I guess, soothing. You know what I mean? But like some of the evangelicals I follow, like Girl Define, which is one of the most famous ones, have pointed out that like anytime that you have one person who becomes like the leader of a movement, that's never going to be great, you know, and the focus has gone away from Jesus from their perspective, and like it's not surprising that there were flaws, even if there were some good things in the organization.
But the documentary doesn't need to cover Jesus. You know, like
yeah,
if the documentary is covering this family,
well,
they
they showed clips from a lot of the conservative bloggers that I follow, as if they were adherents to this group, which they're not. You know, they're not part of the IBLP. I mean, a lot of them have gone to a lecture or two, but they weren't like using the homeschooling worksheets. They weren't, you know, there's a kind of military.
So how did the other groups, when they were shown in the documentary, how did they support or factor into the story that the documentarians were telling? Like
they were like, look at these kind of young YouTubers who are trying to make these radical conservative ideas hip. Like this is the new generation of IBLP doctrine, which like there's.
But to me, I feel like that's still valid because it's kind of showing how, you know, like a lot of conservatives will want to say Trump is not the conservative movement, and then you can show all these other conservatives who say really awful stuff about Muslims or about black people or supporting cops, you know, or supporting military, and you're like, this all feeds into the machine that you're feeding. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think it's a both
I would show,
ends.
if I made a documentary about Trump, I would also be talking about like the never Trump Republicans and showing like
that are not
clips.
Really that different. I think it's a both end. I think that it's fair to be like, hey, this ideology is permeating in different ways, and like these people are an extension in certain ways of IBLP ideology. But I also think it's a little harsh to be like, kind of imply, which the documentary really did, that like everyone who is a fundamentalist evangelical Christian, you know, sanctions the kind of like systematic cover up of sexual abuse that happened in the IBLP, that kind of stuff. I thought was like not really a fair leap to make.
Yeah.
Well,
I could comment more if you had
not watched it.
If you had waited and not watched all of it.
But then the other thing, and this is maybe too niche, you can cut this, but I think I've talked about Girl Define before. So they're a ministry based out of San Antonio, two sisters. So they had a response video because their clips were shown in the documentary. And so they had a YouTube video where they talked about what they agreed with, what they didn't. And I thought it was kind of a bold take because their brother just came out and said that he was abused as a kid, and his mother like kind of has systematically covered it up and not acknowledged it. And so I thought that was kind of weird that they were like willing to publicly talk about this family as if their own family hadn't dealt with that issue. And I wonder if that kind of pushed him to come out. But it was really fascinating because there's a there's a subreddit called, I'm not into Reddit besides the evangelical kind of wars, but there's a subreddit called,
I didn't know that
a little
like
bit.
you still go on Reddit to look at this.
Well, I Google stuff and then I end up on these particular Reddit threads, and now I go to them specifically.
Nice.
There's a Reddit thread called Fundy Snark, and it's people who like are
fundamentalist,
are angry about fundamentalists.
Okay.
And they like kind of like me sort of ravenously watch these YouTubers and these Christianity and again, not all Christians, obviously, like conservative evangelical Christian influencers, and they comment on them. And they're very angry. And honestly, I think that they're a little hateful, and I think they sometimes go too far in the other direction. A lot of their criticism is valid, but they've even done stuff like been like, oh, we think that Bethany's husband is closeted and gay. And that's like not a cool thing to speculate on. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about based on like him showing up in a few YouTube videos. And that's obviously like a very hurtful claim in his community, you know. But
if you're right, then that's kind of cool.
I guess. I don't think he is.
People do that with politicians all the time.
Yeah.
I guess this is different. Maybe.
Yeah. But anyway, this brother came out about these claims on this Reddit thread, which is kind of a fascinating move. Like he got on this Reddit thread of people who hate his family's guts and was like, oh, I was abused as a kid and my family has contributed to this culture of covering up abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Well,
anyway, those are my updates.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll pray for them.
Yeah.
Or what do you...
I don't know if they would accept our prayers, but, you know.
Fuck them. That's all they get. When I will not be thinking of them.
Yeah, they probably would prefer that.
Oh, really?
I think so. I mean, they don't, you know, you have to accept Jesus to be saved, et cetera, so. Wow. I think they're really trying to reach Christians that are not, in their view, properly practicing. I don't think they're trying to, like, reach Muslims, right? Maybe they are. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. What else?
I think we should just talk about how we're finally in Pittsburgh. It's so exciting. So, Ahmed, how long have you been here? Our days are kind of blurred because we're in a haze of, like, unpacking right now.
I've been here a week and 2 days.
A week and 2 days. And when did I got here on Tuesday, right? Gosh,
yeah.
Have I already been here that long? That's crazy. So I've been here Wednesday,
5 days.
Thursday, 5 days. Yeah. Yeah. And we're getting settled in. I mean, the house is coming together slowly.
It's nice.
It's a really nice place. It's narrow as hell. Having moved from the south, like I think we're just used to a lot more space.
Yeah, our couch doesn't fit through the front door.
Our couch didn't fit through the front door.
Our nice leather sofa is just sitting outside.
Yeah, it's gotten rained on several times. Ahmed covered up the tarp, so hopefully it's okay. But it literally, and it's crazy because it's like a beautiful couch.
And we've been trying to
sell it, and no one will buy it because everyone has a narrow ass house or apartment, and I guess can't fit it through the door. Which is kind of crazy. That couch would have gone in Durham in like 5 seconds.
Thinking about doing like a King of the Hill type situation out there and just putting it in the alleyway behind the house.
What happens?
No, and just, drinking beer out there. I'll start drinking beer just so I can.
For this.
Yeah.
No, my parents are coming Tuesday night, and they're gonna help us. They're really good at like getting settled in houses. Like they have incredible. Like,
they're very handy.
They're very handy, like skills I did not inherit. My grandfather was a carpenter, and then eventually like what do you say when you are like a carpenter manager?
I love Jesus.
No.
Oh,
He worked on construction. He worked on like commercial construction sites, and he was like the manager later on in his life. But he began as a carpenter in the Carpenters Union.
Oh, nice.
But anyway, when my parents bought a house in Brooklyn and they renovated it, my grandfather came every weekend for like, I think 7 months or something to help them and like taught my dad all these skills. And so that's an important thing to him and to them. And we're really excited to have them help us out because I'm so spoiled. I've moved so much. And I literally just, I was telling my mom, I was like, I just don't understand how people move without their parents. Like of course, like we could do it, but I just like have no desire to. I just like I've
done it several times.
Yeah, I haven't, and I don't ever wish to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, it'll be really nice. I'll be here for like 6 days, so we can also explore the city a little bit and hang out. But we're liking it so far. It's a really lovely little city. It's interesting.
It's great. Let's see. We've done quite a few things. Today we went to the museum.
The Carnegie Museum. Yeah.
Yep, that was pretty cool.
That was cool.
One thing I appreciate is that you and I both have the same kind of approach to museums. Where we kind of just speed run them.
Yeah, I'm really glad. I feel bad because I've been to museums with people who like to like stop and look at every last
Yeah,
thing.
you don't need to like
I don't have that
ponder
attention
every.
span. It's really bad, but I don't.
I
I
think-
like vibes.
Yeah.
If something catches my eye, I'll stop and look at it.
Yeah.
But I just, especially, okay, this is really bad, but especially natural history museums, I'm just not trying to learn. I don't know
Yeah.
science. I'm happy to learn one or two things, but I just want to be like, oh,
You gotta
look,
set up like a
beautiful
nice
rock,
exhibit
a
that just
beautiful
looks
gem.
cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes me feel like I'm walking among the dinosaurs a
right.
little bit.
That's kind of what we're going for.
Yeah. I think that's good.
Yeah.
I take a very childlike approach to the children also really aren't learning. They're just running through. It's fun.
They're
It's
probably
like,
learning some stuff.
I mean, they're learning shit that I already know, Like,
I don't know
oh,
anything
look,
about
there used to be
science.
these giant things.
Honestly, my like knowledge of science is shockingly bad. I don't know what happened.
It's pretty terrible.
I'm missing a lot of gaps. I don't know anything about animals. I'm missing a lot.
What was it you said today?
I think I misidentified some kind of animal.
Yeah,
I don't remember what it was.
I don't either.
We're all like that in my family. I want to blame Brooklyn, but I don't know.
Yeah.
There's bunnies by our house. They're really cute.
There are a bunch of rabbits.
They're so cute.
I was gonna say, if you're an artist, I'm just gonna run through that museum. I'll stop if something calls out to me. So
Yeah,
you
same.
can't really be doing like subtle shit. You gotta, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you want someone to stop and look at your stuff,
Make
just
it
be
count.
bold. Yeah, make
Yeah.
it count. There was another museum we went to one of the first times we visited.
The Mattress Factory.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it by name in case someone knows the artist, but there was one exhibit that was just a bunch of trash.
We've seen a couple
Like,
exhibits
literally,
like
I'm not
this,
even-
and Ahmed gets really offended. But this is the worst one I've seen. It was literally just trash.
It was a
wasn't even,
room.
like,
It was an
artfully composed.
It wasn't
like,
even a room. It was like an entire floor of that
trash, yeah.
building that
Yeah.
was just trash on either side. Cardboard boxes, pizza boxes, trash.
Yeah. You know?
And people were stopping to ponder it. And I was like, what the fuck is this bullshit?
There were some other cool exhibits though. Contemporary art is
There
gonna
were,
be
yeah.
like that. It's gonna be hit or miss. But there was a beautiful
But
kind of cool,
that's
like,
a thing that I feel like it's a message or it's a thing that's been done so many times before.
it doesn't feel like edgy. Yeah.
It doesn't feel edgy. And if it's supposed to be almost a satirical sort of prank on the people who are stopping to ponder it,
Yeah.
even that's not really interesting to me.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like a stupid thing all around.
Still
Like,
a cool museum though. There was like a lot of other
Cool
interesting
yeah,
exhibits, and
there
they're
were
always
cool-
like
yeah.
circling through. So yeah.
yeah. But
Besides that, we've been walking around our neighborhood a lot, especially you. Before I got here, did a lot of good exploring. Really
Yeah.
good food.
lots of good food.
Super walkable, very dense, which is very nice. For
Very
us.
inclusive city. Very furry friendly.
Oh yeah.
We sad to miss it, but the furry convention was this weekend.
Yeah, so we were driving around downtown running errands, and we saw like one furry, and then we saw three. And at first we thought it was like an anime convention, but then we looked it up, and it is.
And
in
then I
fact,
almost hit one with my car because they're just like everywhere, crawling
it is
around
in
the city.
fact the country's largest furry convention. 13,000 people
13,000
are here this
furries.
weekend.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, are they not people? Right? Yeah.
They're.
Hard to say.
It's-
They're out.
I gotta
here.
look it up because there's like
Yeah.
other kin, but I don't know
It's
if
weird.
there's
We're
overlap
not.
between
This
furries
is the
and
second
other
time we've
kin.
talked about furries on this podcast. We are not furries.
But this is a furry podcast.
We're into some other shit, but that's not really our thing.
Could be, but today.
Wait,
And-
I have a question. If you
yeah.
were a furry, what
Yeah.
animal would you be?
I think I'd have to be something cool like a wolf or a fox.
That's such a guy answer. That's fair. I'd be a
Yeah.
cat, which is also very cliche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what other options are there?
There's a lot.
There are some that are kind of almost like fantasy looking or
I feel like that's
animated
cheating.
version
Are you
look
really a furry
of
if you're
those.
Like a,
but it's like a blue fox or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Yeah.
not really. It looks like a Lisa Frank sort of folder drawing. Do you remember those folders?
No.
You never had a Lisa Frank folder?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
But do you know what I'm talking
No.
about? Oh,
What are you talking about?
I'll show you later.
Okay.
Interesting. I wonder if Lisa Frank is kind of like the origin of people becoming furries.
We'll have to explore that.
Do you think furry is like a recent phenomena or something that started? Because I feel like it started with millennials.
I think I'm sure there have been people who have had like.
Do you think like in the 1800s people were really?
Yeah.
Even before then, do you think?
Yeah.
It's like a sexual thing. I'm not just saying like people dressing up like animals.
Well, anything that people do can be sexualized.
Actually, I don't know. I don't want to say that all furry is necessarily a sexual thing. It might not be.
I agree. But anyway, I think that probably like with porn and with like the internet, I'm sure it's amplified.
Yeah.
And I'm sure more people who had that like tendency were able to explore it.
Yeah.
But I feel like shit like that has always existed. Have you ever looked up like Victorian porn?
No, I have not.
It's cool. Yeah. It just shows you that kind of stuff has always been around.
Oh, I thought you meant like, I guess I was thinking contemporary porn, but they're like pretending to be Victorian. Not like Downton Abbey.
No. Like, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I also have not done that. I just assumed people like drew breasts on a piece of paper or something and then jerked off to it.
Shit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like what?
I'll show you.
Okay. You can show me later. But yeah, it was kind of a sad weekend to be doing that because yesterday and today it's been kind of rainy and those costumes are all very absorbent. So another group of people we will be praying for.
Yeah. The other thing that was rough as hell is that I'll have to show you this another time because I'm finding the first thing that you thought. That's not what I meant to show you. Like contemporary. Yeah.
Is that what came up?
Yeah. The other thing that was super depressing is like the second day I was here, the wildfires in Canada just happened to
the
go
air
for our
quality
way,
was
and
terrible.
It was literally the worst air quality I've ever experienced.
We couldn't even see, like a block away from us. It was hazy.
It was hazy as hell. I like went outside without a mask for maybe like 45 minutes over the whole day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had a headache. I was coughing. Your eyes were bright red.
I looked like I just smoked my damn eyes shut.
Yeah, it was depressing, man. And it's just like, I know it's like, it is what it is, but it's just like fucked up that like we're going to have to increasingly deal with that. It's so annoying.
Well, hopefully the wildfires subside.
No, it's going to keep
You think it's going to?
Yeah,
it's
climate change. It's going to keep on getting worse and worse. Just going to keep on blowing all over the place. It used to be like a West Coast problem because of California, but now it's an everywhere problem. The first time I ever saw like the effect of wildfires, it was such a West Coast phenomenon. I had no idea. Yeah. I was when I moved to Portland after college, and I remember one day I woke up and the sky was orange, and I was literally like Googling, why is the sky orange? Like I had no idea.
Because it's cool.
I mean, it looked kind of beautiful in like an apocalyptic way. Yeah. But then I went outside and I was like coughing, and anyway, that sucked. But thankfully it's blown away now.
For now,
yeah.
We're going to get an air purifier.
We are, for what it's worth.
Doing the research right now.
Yeah.
But
yeah, review of the city so far. Very cool, very compact, lots of interesting architecture, very good food. Affordable food.
Another thing that we learned that I've made it's going to be the thing that I make my mission while we live here to undo is the instantiation of this thing called the Pittsburgh left.
One of my friends from college who's from Pittsburgh told us about this phenomenon.
Yes, and I did not have a name for it before, but it has happened to me a couple times.
Explain
since
what
we've
it
been
is.
Here. So, usually, normal sane people, when you are driving and you're at an intersection, one side, if you imagine cars that are planning to go straight when the light turns green, and then on the other side there's a left turn lane and other cars, so the cars that are going straight have the right of way, right? And if you're trying to make a left, you have to wait
right
until there are no more cars who have the right of way,
right?
But here somehow there's this convention that has been started and that people operate under, where if you want to turn left
and you're
when the light turns green and you're the first car, you just go.
Yeah. And everyone kind of accepts this and knows it.
And it's called the Pittsburgh left.
Yeah.
And I just think this is the stupidest, craziest thing.
And adapt, baby. That's
refuse.
The point of moving.
No,
you have
no,
to
no,
adapt to local
I don't have to adapt. No,
yeah,
these are like these are standard driving
So what? Things are different everywhere. If
laws.
we were in England, you would drive on the other side of the road.
Yeah, because that would be the standardized like law,
But
the
this is locally
convention.
standardized.
No, but that's not like if there was an accident to happen because someone took a Pittsburgh left and you
Mhm.
report it to insurance and you report it to the cops, the person who was making that left would be found at fault.
Oh, now we're going by the cops' rules.
Yes. Yeah.
Huh.
But I think it's stupid for a number of reasons because yeah, maybe it's a bit more of a convention here,
Mm-hmm.
but it requires you to take on so many inputs to
Right.
realize whether or not it's okay to do in that moment.
Yeah.
Like, oh, is there a pedestrian trying to cross at the same time? Do I let this person go or not? What if someone who's got the right of way isn't from this city and doesn't know this convention?
It's interesting. I think there's fireworks. It shows how I think like how local the city is, if that makes sense. Like it shows that they just expect people to adapt, which is kind of interesting.
It's stupid and I think it's wrong.
Another driving update. I don't think I'm gonna drive here, which is bad. but
Yeah, no, it's tough.
It's just like-
it's a pretty rough.
It's a tough city to drive in.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible driver. I only learned in North Carolina because I had to. I literally would have had no life there if I didn't drive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think between like biking and busing and a little bit of Ubering, we'll see. I might try and take lessons at some point, but I kind of just want to give up.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I was really hoping to get you to the point where you could like drive on road trips and stuff.
Yeah.
Seems like that's not gonna happen.
R.I.P. that dream.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay. We can't.
You don't
all
want to
do
take the driving
everything.
lessons?
I would consider it. I mean, I don't know though. I just feel like
It's probably best to they're gonna be like, all right, what you're gonna want to do is as soon as that light turns green, you're gonna want to floor it and make that left because it's just a thing we
it just
do
looks
here.
like a hard city to drive in. Like it even seems like hard. I mean, you're a very safe driver, and it seems like
Yeah.
a steep learning curve for you. So I don't
It's
know.
not a steep learning curve. There are a lot of like switchbacks. I'm not
Yeah.
like having a hard time.
No,
but
I know, but I just think,
if
yeah.
I'm like driving somewhere new, I miss a turn or something, and
Yeah.
But I'll get it.
of course you will.
I'm not like nervous.
This is not a
driving
critique
here.
of your driving. I'm just saying I think it'd be really hard for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
And thankfully, like, we specifically moved somewhere that is a 30-minute bus commute to the university. Like, we were intentional about all of that. So we can walk
Yeah.
to a grocery store. God,
Mm.
it feels so good to be. I miss North Carolina like crazy, and I miss all the people that we love there.
Oh, we got to get a grocery wagon. That's the other thing.
But I'm so happy to be in a place that's more walkable. Like, I really am happy about that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss that density just from growing up in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's nice. Yeah, there's feels like there's a lot of really cool stuff around us. Lots of world-class museums. It's also nice just being in a city that has more historic architecture that's not
Yeah.
plantations. You know?
That is nice.
A lot of the buildings in the South are, not that old or not that interesting, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But here, ketchup and steel, that's the city motto, I'm
Yep.
told.
Pretty much
Right?
everything is like Heinz or Carnegie or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, those are all our updates. We've got a beautiful view from our bedroom. We're looking at Mount Washington, and it's very pretty, all the mountains around here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found a couple of excellent coffee shops I'm excited
Cheers.
about.
You're excited about? You got all your coffees and bakeries down?
Yeah.
I
We'll
know
have to
you're still looking for the perfect croissant, but at least that
Looking for a good
we found
croissant.
some other good stuff.
That's true. Found a cool gym. I'm going to like a very Rust Belt style gym.
Yeah, it's called, so everything in Pittsburgh is called like a factory. It's very strange kind of leftover of it being an
Yeah.
old industry town.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going to the yoga factory and you're going to the exercise warehouse. And then there's
Yeah.
an opera factory, and even the strip club near us is a strip factory.
I don't think that's what it's called.
I think so.
No, I think you
Did I make that up?
did.
No, I don't think so. I'll check.
Listen, I've been to the gentleman's club here.
No, you haven't.
I think it's just called the Strip.
Well, that's what the whole district is called.
Oh.
I'm talking about the strip club.
I think it's called just like Gentleman's club
Let me see.
place.
Anyway, a lot of things named after factories.
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to discuss? You're trying to find out where the strip club is right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's actually more than I expected, so it's hard to tell.
Hmm.
Let me try Google Maps.
Okay. What did you do? Just search strip clubs Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot came up.
Cool. That's good to know.
Yeah. It's not as bad as like other places like Portland though.
Right. I think like Portland's entire GDP is just
It's the highest like strip club per
clubs.
capita in the country, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, how you want to close this out?
Bye.